have camped out there.
Who's Vart?
Should have came what?
Marchuk.
All right. Mazel tov.
Should have camped out and waited for me to be there.
You had half the shear there. We could have just had shear there.
Yeah, maybe. Everybody has their own alcohol.
And forget
in
about
their
the
houses.
other
I don't
half.
think we needed to
And
go
forget
there
about
for
the other half.
alcohol.
Spyro was eating everything there. You should. It's disgusting.
How would you know you were eating everything also? And I was not eating everything.
Napa was giving the brachas.
I didn't eat a thing. I just had a l'chaim. Okay, Naftali?
I guess this is why I don't miss going to Varts. Yeah.
Jack, we don't really have an excuse not to go to this one.
What happens if it's my policy that I don't go to Varts?
Then it's a very good excuse. That it works.
Then that's the excuse.
Very good.
Yeah, I could have offered parking for anybody that needed.
I parked right in front of your house.
All right, there you go. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, turn her up on him. Right, that's what we got. What do you got? The Tia, right? Yeah, turn her up on him. 4 lines up from the bottom. Yeah, so turn her up on him. Echad Hanoi Teya. Did he hit record, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So Echad Hanoi Teya, Echad HaMavrich, Echad HaMarkiv. So Neteya means time to plant, and Mavrich means to what's the word for that? Graft. And no, which one is which? Markiv is the graft.
Mavrich is the bending.
Right, the mavrich, but okay, it's meaning mavrich is you're putting it into the ground. Markiv is you're putting it, you're growing them together. I think, but Simon knows better than me. Right, so okay, whatever it is, any sort of planting. So if you do this Erev Shvius on Erev Shvius, Shloshim Yom Lefnei Rosh Hashanah, 30 days before Rosh Hashanah, which would have been this past year, Rosh Chodesh Elul. So also Rosh Hashanah, it works for the year, meaning that 30 days will count towards a year, and for Orla, and then you need 2 more Rosh Hashanahs. That's what it would seem. Then you need 2 more Rosh Hashanahs, and then you're good to go. Right? But we're going to see in the Gemara in a minute that that's not the case. And then you'd be able to have them during Shvita. They don't mean you don't have to, since they were planted.
I'm sorry, Yaakov. I've been looking for where you are. I'm sorry, I missed last night.
Test somebody pays on the bottom. Now we're 2 lines up from the bottom.
Okay, thanks.
Right? So mutter l'kaiman b'shvius, and it's mutter to have them during shvius too. Meaning, since you planted these things before El, so it's mutter to put that to keep them for shvius. But if you planted all these things less than 30 days before Rosh Hashanah, before Rosh Hashanah, then it does not count as a year. But also l'kaiman b'shvius, and it's also to keep them during shvius, because we learned yesterday or 2 days ago that the Torah added on 30 days. Right, so the Torah added on 30 days to Shemitah, right? Because of Tosfos Shemitah, right? Is the talking in the back bothering anybody? Can you hear it or you can't hear it? Okay, she doesn't want to move. What should I do? All right. So so you're allowed to be mekayim during shvius because you planted it before a month before, right? But less than 30 days, it doesn't work. But also l'kayim b'shvius, and you're not allowed to have shvius. Meaning, if you planted it Aleph Elul, so then it's So then it's not going to count for a year, and then you're going to need to wait 3 Rosh Hashanahs, right? And then you're going to be, and then since it's also looked at like you planted it during Shemitah, and you have to uproot it. Yeah. Upeiros, now here's where it gets a little more complicated. Upeiros Natiya Zu Asurin Ad Tesva Bshvat. We're on talking about Aleph now. Right. And the peiros of this planting are usher until Tu Bshvat. Imla Arla, Imla Ravai. If it's for Arla, it's Arla, and for Ravai, net the Ravai is Ravai. So Arla is the first 3 years you can't use the tree, and then the 4th year, the fruits become Kaddish. Right? So since the fruits become Kaddish, then you can't take it. So really you can't eat the fruits until the 5th year. Right? So when does this take place? When is Arla over? So you think if you grew it a month before Rosh Hashanah, right? So now that Rosh Hashanah is 1, 2nd Rosh Hashanah, and then the 3rd Rosh Hashanah. So you should be able to eat the fruits right away. The Gemara is saying, no, you're not allowed to eat the fruits until Tu Bshvat, right? Till after Tu Bshvat, you're not allowed to eat the fruits. Why not? Because that's considered part of plantings. And we know that fruits it's the Rosh Hashanah for Ilonis is not until Tu Bshvat. So really you have to wait another, I guess, 4 or 5 months. It's not as bad as waiting another full year, but you still have to wait a few months. And then the next year for Ravai, net the Ravai, it's considered net the Ravai up until Tu Bshvat. Yeah? Fine. So Minani Mili. So how do you know this? So Rav Chia bar Abba, Amar Rav Yochanan, Umatu ba Mishmei Rav Yana, and some say it was not B'Shem Rav Yana, it was B'Shem Rav Yana. Omar Cross, so the pasuk says, Uvashana haravius, and in the 4th year, right? Uvashana chamishas, and in the 5th year. So what's the 4th year and the 5th year? So meaning the 4th year it no longer becomes Arla, right? It's Arla for the first 3 years, and then the 4th year it's Arla, and then the first 3 years is Arla. The 4th year it's not Arla anymore; it's Neter Ravai, and then the 5th year becomes Mutter because it's no longer Neter Ravai. So it says Uvashana Revius, Uvashana Chamishas, Pa'amim Sheber Revius, V'adayin Asura Mishum Arla. So sometimes it's going to be in the 4th year, and it'll still be Asur because of Arla, even though it's in the 4th year. Upa'amim Sheber Chamishas, and sometimes it's in the 5th year, V'adayin Asura Mishum Ravai, and it's still Asur because of Ravai. Right? Meaning, so when the fruits get ripe earlier than they're supposed to, meaning before Tu Bshvat, so then you still have to wait till Tu Bshvat. Okay, that's what the Gemara is saying. So again, even though it's really the 4th year, so it should no longer be Arla, it's still Arla till Tu Bshvat if the fruits got ripe early. And then if the fruits got ripe early the next year, so then it's going to be into the 5th year will be not the Ravai. Okay, that's the hard part. Fine. So then now we go back to the original Machlokes. We're not going to have the Machlokes now. We'll go back to the original Gemara, which was at 30 days. As long as it's planted 30 days before Rosh Hashanah, it's considered like 1 year, and it's considered before Shemitah. So Lema Deloika Rameir. Let's say that this Brisa is not like Rameir. The Rameir, because it was the Rameir Ha'amar, which we had also before Yom Echad B'Shana Chashav Shana. According to Rameir, all you need is 1 day out of the year, and that's considered a year. Meaning, we know to use a mashal that we could all understand is we know mikzah sayom kekula, right? If now somebody is loyaleno sitting shiva, so the 7th day they sit for a minute, and that's like the whole day. So according to Rameir, 1 day for a year is considered like a year, right?
First day also.
And the first day is also, which we'll get to, right? The first day also is mixed. As long as they sit shiva before shkia, that's considered like a day. So according to Rameir, 1 day of a year is also considered like a year. But this price seems to say it's 30 days, not 1 day, because you have to have it planted 30 days before. So it seems like this price is not like Rameir. So again, Lema Deloika Rameir, Di Rameir Ha'amar Yom Echad B'Shana Chashav Shana. Rameir holds one day of a year is considered a year. Titania, Par Ha'amar B'Torah. The par, when it says par in the Torah, how you touch par? A cow, right? Bull, a bull. Bull, Homer, but Torah, Stam, Ben Esrim V'Arbim Chodesh. That's 24 months old. B'Yom Echad. A par, meaning has to be 3 years old. So according to Rameir, Ben Esrim V'Arba Chodesh B'Yom Echad. He needs to be 24 months and 1 day, and that's considered 3 years old. Divrei Rameir. That's Rameir. Rebbe Lazar Omer, Ben Esrim Ba'arba Chodesh V'Lamid Yom. No, in order to be considered part of a year, you need 30 days. You need 30 days, not one. Not 1 day. So that's a Machlokes, Rebbe Lazar Rameir. Shai Rameir Omer, Kol Makom Shenemar Egel B'Torah Stam. Anytime it says an Egel, which is a calf, Ben Shana. That means it's a year old. Ben Bakar. Bakar is Ben Shtayim. That's 2 years old. Par is Ben Shalosh, and a what do you call it? A par is 3 years old, right? So Memela, you needed 3 years and 1 day, or 2 years and 1 day, 1 year and 1 day, and the Brisa says it's 30 days. So the Brisa is obviously not like Rameir. So basically, we have Machlokes Tanaim whether you, in order to count a year, you need 30 days or 1 day. Fine. So it seems like this Brisa is not like Rameir. So when it answers a people time Rameir, you can even say it's according to Rameir. Kikam Rameir Yom Echad B'Shana Chashuv Shana B'Soif Shana. Al B'Tchila Shana Loi. Rameir only says at the end of the year, it's considered a 1 day is considered a year, but the Tchila Shana, that's not. Right. So Arla, when you first plant the tree, that's the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, according to Rameir, needs 30 days. But at the end of the year, then the end of the year, and Hanami only needs 1 day.
What's the difference?
Right? What's the lumdus with it?
Yeah.
It's sort of the same thing with the mixus of Yom Kippur. Do you say it in the beginning and in the end? So by Shiva, we say both. Right? I'm trying to think of another case where we would say it in one place and not the other, besides for Nidda. The Gemara is going to ask from Nidda. Right? Well, I mean, I guess the bull and the eagle, the bull and the calf and all that, that's the end of the year, right? It needs to be 3 years old. So that one day is considered a new day, a new year. So that's the end of the 3 years. So that counts as 1 day. But why would he say that? Didn't we, when we had this a few blot ago, didn't we say a svara?
Rashi said a svara by Malachim. Can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
Right at the beginning.
Yeah. We said a svara with it. I, of course, can't remember. Space on a base, right? I don't remember the svara now. But either way, let's see the next one. Maybe we'll remember it. So again, Rameir is saying that at the end of the year, 1 day counts. Beginning of the year doesn't count. So Amar Rava asked a kasha from Nidda. Now, before that we go right, we need to, this is going to be negayah to today's daf and actually tomorrow's daf too, and negayah to this week's parsha. So in Nidda, the ikr din of Nidda is that whenever a woman sees, she just has to wait 6 more days besides for the seeing. Let's say she sees a minute before Shkia, that's considered 1 day. 6 more days, as long as she's clean, she goes to the mikvah. That's Nidda min HaTorah, right? But you need the first day is mikvah yom kikule. As long as she sees before Shkia, she's fine. But the 7th day, she needs to be clean the entire day, right? So what? So that's fakert from what this here we're saying that the first day of a year, that's where a mayor doesn't go with the partial. But the last day he does, and by Nidda, it seems to be that the first day you could say mixas yom kikula, but not the last day. So it seems to be the opposite. Let's see. Amar Rava, v'lav kavah chaymeru, is it not a kavah chaymeru? Man bida, shein tchilas hayom oilala b'sayfa. At the beginning of the day doesn't count. At the end of her 7 days, meaning she can't just wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, today's day 7," and like with Shiva, right? They sit Shiva for a minute and then they go free. That's why we say a woman says the same thing. I wake up in the morning, today's my day 7, I'm clean, let me go free. Right? We don't say that. Right?
Isn't that a drasha?
Yes, so.
It could be that it is. And Smara could be Migsir Vikulai. We have a drasha that says that neither can go to mikvah.
Good, but whatever it is, but you see, but you can they don't use that drasha for the first day. Right? So whatever it is. So again, the 7th day needs to be full. She'ein tchilas hayom oilala b'sayfa. At the beginning of the day doesn't just count for the last day. Sayf hayom oilala b'tchilasa. But the last day, I'm sorry, the end of the day counts in the beginning, meaning if she sees a period right before Shkia, that counts. Right, so Seifa Yom Oilala B'Tchila Shana, Sheyom Echad Oilala B'Seifa, because one day does count at the end, right? Like for the animals, like one day counts at the end, one full day, right? So if you're saying one day should count at the end, then certainly it should count at the beginning.
Wait, what? I'm a little bit confused. The
Hey, that's not so bad.
The Tchilas Riyasa. The reason the
Yeah.
first day counts has nothing to do with Mixus Yom Kulai.
Why not?
Because she saw on Yud Gimel. When she didn't see on Yud Daled, she saw on Yud Gimel. That's her vest. What do you want to do? Call Yud Gimel and Yud Daled her vest?
No, but she should need 7 full days, and then
Wait,
she
the
should need
Safrala is by Zava, not Nidda. Why should a Nidda need 7 full days? You're forced to say that her vest is on Yud Gimel.
right.
So that day counts. Automatically it counts. It has to count. You don't have a choice. Not because mixes right? That first day has to be a day.
Correct, but maybe you have to count a full 7 days.
Why would that be any different than the rest of the Hilchos Nidda? All of a sudden we would have to count Me'es La'es. Why should I count Me'es La'es?
Why
I
not?
need I need the days that count.
We do that for the 5
The
days.
dates.
We do
It's
that.
the dates rather than the days.
We do that for the 5 days.
5 days are different din. That is a din Me'es La'es. It takes 72 hours for it to degrade.
Right.
Nidda's
So,
not like that. It's not.
okay, so
it's
I
not
don't
the-
know. I hear. I don't know. That's what I thought, that it would go full 7 and then you can move from there. But I hear what you're saying. But either way, so what the kasha is that clearly from Nidda, you see that the end is more important. So if you count the end of the year, one day counts for the whole year. So the beginning is for sure going to count for the whole year. Yeah. So, okay, so now it can't be. So now we slug up Rameir that one day a year can't count. Yeah. Ve'elamai, Rebbe Lazar. So who's it going to be? It's going to be Rebbe Lazar. That the price is going to be like Rebbe Lazar, who holds 30 days. If that's the case, then you need to have shloishim ushloishim by you. You need 30 days plus 30 days. Not I don't know why it doesn't say just 60, but it says 30 days plus 30 days. Meaning you need 60 days according to Rebbe Lazar, not 30 days. Why? The Tanan ain't noitin vein mavrichen vein markiven erev shvius. You're not allowed to do any of these plantings on erev shvius. Pachas milam yom lefnei Rosh Hashanah, less than 30 days before Rosh Hashanah. Vim not done. If he did plant the hivrich, the hirkiv yakar, then he has to uproot it. Okay, some say you go to this, and some say you're not go to. And Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, kol har kava she'ena kaletas begimel yomim. If it's not done with 3 days before, shuv ena kaletas, it no longer will. It will no longer, meaning it has to. You need 3 days, right? Not 30 days, 3 days. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon Aimer, shtei Shabbos, it needs 2 weeks. It's interesting. So we're having a machlokes, and what do we call this stuff? Is this horticulture? What is this? You're muted about it.
Horticulture.
Horticulture, is that what this is, or that's flowers?
No,
Horticulture is any. Yeah.
What? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but
horticulture,
isn't there a Metzias here?
No, that's what it says. It's interesting. Seems like they're arguing on how long it takes for plants to take hold.
Go
That's what
go
it
and take a
seems.
plan and go figure it out. And why is there an argument in this?
I don't know, but it's a pretty different. It's pretty. One is saying 3 days, one is saying 2 weeks, and one is saying a month. I don't know. It seems like it's a machlokes in that, in the mitzias, in the gardening, right? It's very interesting that's what the machlokes is. But either
Are they
way,
only talking about trees, or are they talking about all plants?
it seems like trees.
I mean, trees are notorious for not taking root for quite some time. And it's not just like one type of tree. They all 30 days is not a crazy thing to say.
They're fruit. So I mean, they're talking about just fruit trees,
just fruit trees.
I'm talking about any tree. Fruit
Well,
trees.
they're
This is
not
particularly
They're
grafting.
just talking about fruit
Oh,
trees.
so
That's all
maybe
I'm
Simon is
saying.
trying to be miyashiv the machlokes that each one of them is talking about a different type of tree.
There's different types of trees. You have apples and pears will take anything that grows a fruit that's, any fruit, but it has to have a certain amount of energy that goes into creating said fruit. So like they have to be more established. You'll find that those trees have a lot more of an interesting root system than an oak.
I hear. I don't know. Maybe that's what the pshat in the machlokes is. I don't know.
But it really depends on the trees. And then you have smaller ones like eucalyptus.
No.
They establish pretty quickly, but they dig
I was
really
so
deep roots.
Okay, I
quiet.
don't care.
I don't even
I don't care.
know.
I don't know.
I don't know
Simon, is grafting the same as planting?
No, grafting
We're
is
only
when
talking
you,
about grafting here.
grafting
Natia
is when you attach one type of tree to another type, or it can be any type of tree to any type of tree, really. You're trying to,
Right.
in the fruit production world, they have apple, pear, peach, plum trees. They come off of one like root stock, and then they graft them onto each other, like taping and gluing, basically.
They sold it in Costco one year, a
They-
4 different type apple tree out
They
of
sell
one
it-
base.
They sell it in Tractor Supply and Rural King and Yoder's.
Aside from that, I think, don't the trees have to germinate? You need to have more than one tree for it to produce fruit.
That depends on the tree too, though.
I hear you. Okay, whatever it is. But okay, so there you have the machlokes of how much it takes. Let's see. According to the one that says 30, you need 30 plus 30, right? Because why? 30 days, it has to have grown and taken root before the 30 days, right? If it didn't take root before the 30 days, then that's not considered like it was grown. And l'divrei shloisha, tzarich shloisha u'shloishim, you need 33 days. L'divrei beis Shabbosos, the one that says it takes 2 weeks. Tzarich shtei Shabbosos u'shloishim yom. You take 2 Shabbosos and 30 days. Right? So what does the Gemara say? So what do we want with this? So if that's the case, and if we hold like Rabbi Yehuda, that says it needs 3 days, then why is the Brisa saying just 30 days? Gimel v'shloishim b'ay, it needs 3 plus 30. Meaning, so the bottom line is who is the author of this Brisa? It's not Reb Meir, and it can't be Reb Yehuda because the Brisa is just saying 30 days. So who? Nobody holds just 30 days. So Gemara says, Eloilam Reb Meir. Really, it's Reb Meir who holds 1 day. And when does he saying Lamed? That's you need 30. It needs to be klita means it needs to not sprouted. It needs to have what's the word?
Bud.
It needs to,
Bud.
I don't know. Bud is when it comes out. It's
needs to take root.
It needs to join together.
Root. Thank you. Root. Yes, it needed to take root. Needed to take root before. Meaning, when a mayor says 30 days before, he means it needed to take root 30 days before. And then you get into machlokes. Okay, so how many days does it need to be rooted? Does it need 3 days, 2 weeks, or what? So Yachi Lamed Aleph Boy, if that's the case, but even it's then you should need 31. Right? 30 days is not enough. Yeah. So Gemara answers Kasavar Yom Lamed Oil Lakan Lakan. We're going to count day 30 both ways. It counts as the day it takes root, and we also count it as day 1 meaning we count it as the day that it took root is the day it took root. That's fine. And then it also counts as 1 day towards day 30. Fine. Okay. So now the Gemara is going to go through where the machlokes is between a Belazar and Meir about whether 1 day a year is considered a year or 30 days. So and they both darshan the same pasuk. Right? We're 2 weeks late for this, or 1 week, or 2 weeks. Yeah. So this is talking about by Noach in the Mabel. So it was 600 years, right? And the Berishon in the first month, on the first day of the month, right? And that's when the Mabel was over. So that's what the pasuk says. Right? So it said 1 day. It says 1 day, and it calls it a year. And it calls it a year, right? Because it was only 1 day into the year, right? It was the first month, first day of the month. And we're called Sheis Mei Hashanah. So Shema Mina, Yom Echad B'Shana, Chashuv Shana. Therefore, we see that one day of the year is called a year. Okay, so what's Rebbe Elazar going to do with that raya? If it would have said 601 years in the first month, in the first day of that month, then you're right. Now that it says 1 and 600 years, Shana Ashesh Meyas Koy. The Shana is going on the 600, not on the 1. So my Achas, what are you saying 1 for? It's going at the first day of the 601st year. So that's meaning it can't be like Rameir saying, basically, as he's saying, it should have said in the 601st year, on the first day of the 601st year. It doesn't say that. Since it says
this
that
is pretty
out of order,
tricky.
then it's no. What are you saying?
It's pretty tricky. So if somebody davens on Rosh Hashanah and he thinks he has a kapara, if he has one, he lives to Beis Tishrei, and then he dies Gimel Tishrei. So he had a whole. So yeah, he had to hold your kapara for a year. No,
I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Why not?
okay, I'm just saying.
Isn't that a place we're coming up?
It's a different way to look at it.
Or you could say he gets the schar of a whole year, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Why didn't we already say B'chodesh
Well, maybe
Rishon?
it's the
Why would
parnos.
we-
He hits the lotto. Beis Tishrei gets the parnos for a whole
Yeah.
year on one day.
Right. No, I hear.
Doesn't the pasuk go on to say that it's the first month? Why do you have to tell us it's the beginning of the year? It's 601.
What are you saying?
The end of the pasuk says it was the first month that this happened. And why does he have to go on and tell us this is the beginning of the year? Ba'achas. If the end of the pasuk is telling you what month it's in, what do you need to say ba'achas for? Ba'achas was
So
tell
what are
us
you
the
saying?
beginning of
That's
the
a
year.
riot.
We know.
You're saying that's a riot to Rameir?
Correct. I'm asking on the way he's darshaning ba'achas.
But I don't know. I can't understand how you darshan anything like that. Either way, I don't understand it. So I hear you, Diak. Right? Okay, so anyway, so that's the way Rameir dashes that. That's what Rebbe Elazar answers. Rebbe Elazar, my time, how does he get a month? Right? It says in Rishon, the first month, the first day of the month. Right, so now this also needs a little bit of math, right? So if the one day is considered a month, right? The Torah is calling it the first day of the first month. So that means after one day, it's already calling it a month. So Yom Echad Hu Da'al B'Chodesh V'Kakari LeChodesh, and is calling it a month. Shema Mina Yom Echad B'Chodesh Chashav Chodesh. One day of the month is called a month. And with the Yom Echad B'Chodesh Chashav Chodesh, and then if you move it up in ratio, so if one day of the month is called a month, then Lamed Yom B'Shana Chashuvim Shana. Then 38 days of a year is going to be called a year. But how do you know this? Because Chodesh L'Menuya B'Shana L'Menuya. That's what we had a couple of blot ago, right? That we said that a month gets counted according to its components. So what is a month comprised of? 30 days. So Shana is counted by 12 months. So whatever component it has, as long as you get one of them, that's considered the full thing. So one day is considered a month, and Mela, we learn out from that, the 30 days is considered a year. Yeah. So that's pshat in the Machlokes between Rebbe Elazar and Rameir over whether a day is considered a year or 30 days is considered a year. It's interesting because there's no rebuttal back here from Rameir. What does Rameir do with this svara? Unless we just say that Rameir doesn't hold to this svara. Right?
What should the pasuk have said? Should cut out the word l'chaydish? It says the first of the month. Dr. Eliezer, because it calls it a month. I mean, what is it? It is the first of the month.
I hear.
You can't say it's not the first of the month.
You can't say it's not the first of the month.
What should the pasuk have said? It is Achad l'chaydish. It was Aleph Nisan.
I know it's not saying that you should have said anything. It's not saying you should have said anything. He's saying a svara that if a month is comprised of 30 days and one day is considered a month, so a year
before
that's
the
comprised
svara,
of 12
before the
months, so
svara.
then that's 12 months.
He's coming off the pasuk. The pasuk says Be'echad l'chaydish. It's Kakari l'chaydish. He calls it a month.
right?
They didn't call it a month. They called Nissan a month, not one day of it, a month. He's saying since he used the word Chodesh, it's considering one day a month. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't think Rameh is mechuyev to learn that.
I hear. I don't know. Okay, let's just start the next Gemara a little bit because tomorrow's Shtagai. Actually, let's start it. Tanya Rebbe Lazar Oimer. The Tishrei Nivra Olam. The world was created in Tishrei. The Tishrei Nolda Avos. The Avos were born in Tishrei, which has to be Avram and Yaakov, not because we'll see in a minute, and that it's not Yitzchak. The Tishrei Mesu Avos. In Tishrei, the Avos were the Nifter. But Pesach no Yitzchak. That's how you know that he wasn't born in Tishrei. But on Pesach, Yitzchak was born. For Rosh Hashanah, Nifked Sarah Rachel B'Chana. Sarah, Rachel, and Chana all were answered that they're going to have babies on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah Yotze Yosef and Beis Asurim. Yosef went out of jail on Rosh Hashanah. Right. So according to this shita, all these things happened in Tishrei. Rosh Hashanah Batla Avodah Ba'Vesenu B'Mitzrayim.
But Yitzchak was a 6-month pregnancy.
Tomorrow's daf. Tomorrow's daf. Yes, it's unbelievable that we're doing this. The tomorrow is Hashem, right? So Rosh Hashanah Batla Avodah Ba'Vesenu B'Mitzrayim, and Rosh Hashanah is when they stopped working in Mitzrayim. And B'Nisan Nigalu B'Tishrei Hasid in the Gol. And Nisan they were redeemed from Mitzrayim, and Tishrei though the Gul is going to be in Tishrei. That's Shita's Rebbe Lazar. And Bishua,
didn't the Malach come a year before he came on Rosh Hashanah?
Tomorrow's daf. If anybody wants to catch it, to be prepared for tomorrow's daf, do the Chumash Rashi of the first Aliyah.
Tomorrow's daf, this week's Parsha.
Tomorrow's daf, this week's Parsha. It's unbelievable too. But if the Olam hasn't started reviewing the Parsha yet, we could die before tomorrow's daf to do the Chumash Rashi. Now, I did it already, the Chumash Rashi, but that was 2 days ago, so I have to redo it. Anyway, so Rabbi Yeshua says, Nisan Nivra Olam, it was created in Nisan. Yeah. Now again, by the way, when they say Nisan and Tishrei, it means that was when man was created, not when the world was created. Right? Rosh Hashanah is really the world, the creation, according to most, is that was when man was created. That's when it was. Everything was 6 days before that.
So I'm saying when it says Ha'olam, it really means man?
Yes. Yeah.
So why doesn't it say that?
Oh, why doesn't it say that?
Why is it saying Ha'olam if it means man?
Because the world was created for man. I think that's the way we understand it, no? I think so.
That's the Taicha Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam.
Yeah, that's a whole nother shmooze, Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. Right?
See, Yaakov, I just don't understand this whole idea that B'Nisan Nivra Ha'olam. Where are they counting this from? Because like the world was created. What month does that mean?
I mean, what?
Let's say man was created on the 6th day of creation. What was going on before then? There was months before then, but that's the first of the month. Are they saying that this is the first of the month? This is the first month.
That's l'chayra.
They're not saying. They're saying that Nisan is the first month of the creation.
That's what they're saying. That's what's going to be. Yes.
Okay, fine. They're saying it in a very funny way.
Yeah, we're just starting this now, but you see, it's a long daf. It's not a hard daf tomorrow, but there's a lot of back and forth exactly how we have to learn all this. That's we're just starting it tonight. So whatever. So Rabbi Eliezer holds that it's all pretty much Tishrei. Rabbi Yeshua, B'Nisan Nivra Olam, B'Nisan Noldo Avos, B'Nisan Mesu Avos, the Pesach Noilad Yitzchak. That's no Machlokes. Right? Everybody holds Yitzchak was born on Pesach. But Rosh Hashanah Nifked the Sarah Rachel V'Chana. That was also no Machlokes. But Rosh Hashanah Yotze Yosef and Beis Asurim, also no Machlokes. Rosh Hashanah Batla Avodah Ba'Vesenu B'Mitzrayim, and B'Nisan Nigalu B'Nisan Hasid Ligol. That there is a Machlokes. Right, so the middle, there's no Machlokes. It's only the beginning and the end. When the world was created, when the Avram and Yaakov were born, and when the Gula HaSida is going to be. That's the Machlokes. Okay, so tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we'll see what the reasons are, and then we'll go with this whole diyun. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Good to know, everybody. Okay, Zagadun. Yeah.
Thank you.
No. Yeah, I don't know what to make with all these drushes, Akiva. I don't know. I remember I told you, so when I learned my father's one of the we used to learn, it was drush. It was like, let's just, there's no way to ask. So it doesn't seem to be any svaras. So
I only asked to understand. I'm not meaning. I'm just trying to understand like how they're darshaning.
Of course. I'm saying.
Right, you still have to understand how they darsh it. I'm not asking lumdish. I'm asking the stam.
You're ahead of me, my friend. At least you're still trying.
I might be behind you. You already got to the point where you realize it's a bad idea.
I just gave up. No, but you're ahead of me in the Amelus. Guy asked me Kalman Geffen asked me yesterday a kasha on the, I don't know, in Bereshis. I said, listen, I have long given up on understanding Bereshis, and that's all. He says, now that's a good answer. I said, yeah, maybe. It's the easy answer, but I can't understand what's going on.
It's a Rashi, no?
What?
Rashi says Pardes is backwards in Bereshis.
I don't know. The Ramban must have written his Pshat and Bereshis for a reason. Right? I know he goes into like whether you should learn it, you shouldn't learn it. The Ramban goes into many drushes. The Ramban about Bereshis.
Yeah. The Ramban was also very big in Kabbalah.
I hear. But the Ramban obviously put it out so that you should try. You know, he didn't put it out for
It's
himself.
some kind of perish. We should have some kind of understanding. It doesn't mean we have any real understanding of what Pshat is.
Right.
I mean, unless they're arguing, unless Rashi holds Pardes is backwards and the Ramban holds it's not. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Rashi also gives a pirish, but sometimes it's not easy to understand.
All right.
Yeah. Yaakov.
Yeah.
In the original Brisa on Yud Amud Beis, I think the Lanias Daiti, the only Machlokes is by Harkava, by grafting. By Netia Mavrichen, there, as everyone asked, there's roots. You can tell it's a Metzias. By Harkava, there's no roots. It just has to join together somehow to become one tree.
What are you talking, Netia?
Netia, there's roots. You can tell when it starts growing roots. That's easy enough to tell. They're not arguing about that. The whole Machlokes is only Harkava. Rabbi Yehuda Oimekol Harkava Sheina Kilatis Begimel Yom Shalei Kilatis.
Oh, you're saying he's only going on Harkava.
Right. And Rav Shimon and Rav Shimon also are referring back to him. The whole Machlokes is only by Harkava. By Netia and Mavrichen, because you're planting, both of them need roots. Anyone can tell. That's just a Metzias when they root.
I hear.
Harkava, there's no roots. So they have Machlokes when, what exactly. I mean, it seems Rabbi Yehuda is learning the same as, it's funny that you mentioned the 3 days for Nidda on Amud Aleph, because that's the same thing, the same 3 days. Zara Kailit, the Gimel Yamin. Same Rabbi Yehuda.
I hear. That's very good. That's a good sushtel. Yeah. All right. Tomorrow, that's on you want to prepare those Taisasin and that Rashi?
Which, the bottom Rashi?
Yeah.
Lamayid?
What are you saying?
Lamayid, which Rashi?
No, on Amud Beis. Tomorrow's Amud Beis.
Oh.
I think it's got to be from the longest Rashis in Shas, no?
It definitely rivals Yevamah Stuff Tess. No, it's close to Yevamah Stuff Tess. Tess Vav Tsarus.